I'll put a $100 bet down on him.
Win, place, or show?
Win. Yeah, win. The guy is. I haven't been around, with the exception of maybe Donovan. I haven't been around an ultimate competitor like this guy from day one. Even the day after he got hurt in the Dallas game that Monday, he pretty much said to everybody that was in the training room, I was one of the guys that was in there, is that you guys get me there, and I'll be there. If you guys get us to the Super Bowl, I'll be there.
What has surprised you most about Terrell from the moment you walked into you guys' locker room?
I think the most thing that surprised me is that the reputation that he came over here with, to me, didn't fit him to a degree of what he was portrayed out to be as far as a selfish guy, a guy that wasn't a team player, a guy that had no character. We've seen none of that. He's been a guy that's been here. He's been very, cordial to all his teammates. He's a guy that, he's taken all his wideouts over to the Pro Bowl with him. I mean, he's a guy that's went out of his way to make everybody feel welcome, around him. He's went out of his way to do so many things as far as being one of the guys. And we've been very receptive to that. And he's come in here not trying to be the show, but be a part of the show.
Like Reese, let's check in with one of the biggest surprises on the Eagles defense, and that's cornerback Sheldon Brown. Let's go to player podium 4.
Read something, Bobby, Troy, and Dalton. Bobby, Taylor, Troy Vincent, and Brian Dawkins. Especially us as a secondary. If you read something or you watch something or you tend to hear something, eventually you believe it. He told me he was coming down, and he told me he would make sure he get in touch with me. But, Troy, you know what he means to me, and he's going to probably let me have my space until he finds the right time to get in touch with me and talk to me. But I'm pretty sure I'll see him more than once this week.
Summarize kind of what he's meant to you, like, in your career. I know you've addressed this before.
You know what? He's meant so much to me. He took me under his wings from day one, taught me the defensive scheme, taught me the system. And believe it or not, that's probably why I caught on so much faster than Lito. And he's done wonders for me in my life, and I don't think there's nothing I could do to repay him. But I owe him a lot, and I look at him as a father figure to me. And hey, whatever he needs, I'm there for him.
I wish he was here.
Hey, you know what? I wish he was the starting corner, because he's been in this league. He deserves it. He's worked so hard, and you don't find too many Troy Vincents in the world, period. And I mean, for me to be here right after he steps down, so he told me, he was like, Sheldon, I'll never steal your thunder. And how can a guy say, well, that's basically telling me I'm going to move on so you can have my position. I think you worked hard enough to earn it. That's basically what that tells me. And as soon as he leaves, we go to the biggest achievement, which he's been trying to get there for some while. So it means a lot to me. And every time I step on the football field, believe it or not, I do think of Troy Vincent, because he's part of the reason I'm here.
So you wish he was here at Curtis. I mean, you wish he was starting this game.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I wouldn't mind being out there playing, but I do wish he had the opportunity to run out of tunnel and be a starting corner in the Super Bowl.
Sheldon, there's a quote in the Eagles press conversation with Harold Green about everybody has problems in their life. And Lito had a real serious family problem about a month ago.
Uh-huh.
How much did you guys talk about it? Do you think that's motivating him here, considering the game is in Jacksonville of all places?
Well, he came back and he dedicated his first playoff game to his cousin. They were tight. They grew up in the same household as kids. And, the worst thing to do is to talk about that with Lito, because he's trying to, get that out of his system.
Just found that out.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's trying to get that out of his system, and he wanted that to be a time for his cousin, not a time about Lito. And that's the only thing that was frustrating him, because everyone tried to turn it to him and give him, like, all the time, and he didn't want that.
And Michael's got his heart situation. What have you had to deal with? What's the toughest thing you've had to deal with coming along?
In my professional career, not too much. But in college, I mean, I lost my grandmother. Well, she didn't die, but she had a stroke prior to me going to school. And we was going to pull the plug on it. She's still fighting today. So, and out of high school, I was supposed to go to college. They didn't allow me to go. I had to make a decision, go to junior college or go back to high school for a year. I had my diploma.
So why did you?
The NCAA didn't count one of my credits. So I just sucked it up and went back to high school and took a 9th grade science course before I could enroll in college.
And you didn't play, obviously, because you don't use your eligibility.
Yeah,
That's Sheldon Brown at player podium 4. This is Donovan McNabb at player podium 3, the
Sometimes
quarterback
you get
of
caught
the
up in the
Eagles.
whole make a big play concept, and that can bite you in the butt. And if you just continue to run your offense and do it effectively, then you find yourself in a great position. Excuse me. Well, I mean, I wasn't surprised at all. I wasn't surprised at all. And again, you go back to the first New England and Indianapolis game where, I mean, Peyton was just, taking what the defense was giving him. Edgerrin James was picking up yards for him. Marvin Harrison did an excellent job, Stokely, Reggie Wayne. But it was a costly turnover in the red zone, on the fumble with Edgerrin James, that possibly could have won the game for him. But that's what I'm talking about, mistakes and things of that nature. Trying to get the extra yard or, just trying to extend the ball maybe for a touchdown, that can cost you. So I think just what we have to do, again, is just kind of watch that film, learn from that, and be able to go out and know what we're supposed to do. No. I mean, just about watching the game when I watched the second half of it, the way Carolina moved the ball in the second half. I mean, just Jake Delhomme just, checking the ball down, and that sets up for big plays where he was able to, get some time to move around a little bit, hit Muhsin Muhammad for the long pass, when he hit Steve Smith on the deep pass. And then after that, it was, he was hitting his tight ends, he was hitting his running backs on screens that were big for him. The running backs started to run well. Stephen Davis picked up some big yards for him. So you have to be patient. The game is won, and all throughout the first 4 quarters. I mean, and where you're at that particular time gives you an opportunity to win the game at the end. I haven't watched that game because, they don't run our offense like we do. And, you have to kind of watch a West Coast offense team playing them. And then from then on, you kind of watch other quarterbacks and how they handle it.
West Coast offense, you've had more success with against them.
Well, I mean, Seattle had a lot of success with them in New England. And you eliminate some of those drop balls that they had, and it would have been a much, different game. And, I think the way Hasselbeck handled himself, obviously being back home and going out there to play against those guys, he did an excellent job with that, moving the ball, putting points on the board. But they catch some of those balls, it's a whole different game.
What do you think about your own college coach now being the AFCs?
I'm excited for him. And, for what happened at Syracuse, it was a tough situation, but, I believe he's going to be the linebacking coach in Dallas, and I'm excited for him.
Let's say one of Andy's biggest early decisions, obviously, was making you the franchise quarterback here. What does it mean to you to have a guy who's sort of stuck by you the whole time? He's almost kind of tied his fate to yours over the years. How much does that mean?
Well, that shows a lot of trust and confidence in him that, he has the confidence in me to be able to lead this team to where we want to go. We've had our down year, obviously, going 5-11 my rookie year, and then from then on, we've won 10 or more games for the last 5 years. And that says a lot about, Andy Reid and Jeffrey Lurie and Joe Banner of, every year just kind of reloading and bringing different guys in. The draft has been well for us. Guys have just continued to stay on top of their game.
Have you and Andy ever talked about the fact that neither one of you were the most popular choices at the time, yet now here you are doing what the city always wanted you to do?
We haven't really talked about it, but, I mean, we all know what happened at that particular time. Andy got the job, and, everyone was looking for a big-name coach to come in, and, and then he drafted me. I guess it was kind of a double negative in some people's minds, and, the list went on. But I think people are excited about what happened in '99 at that particular time.
All right, you're watching live coverage of the Philadelphia Eagles press conference on this Thursday. Darren Horton, Jim Mora, the NFL at the Super Bowl. And we've heard from Andy Reid and Terrell Owens and Donovan McNabb. I think one of the interesting people that we heard from was Sheldon Brown. People talk about the impact of Javon Curse and Terrell Owens to this team. But how about the secondary, which was a big question mark when the season began?
Right. Well, they had 2 veteran corners, up until this point. Troy Vincent and Bobby Taylor, both of those left the Eagles, so they had to go with Lito Shepard and Sheldon Brown, 2 starters, not as rookies, but their first-year starters. And people had some questions as to how they would do, but they've come in and done an excellent job for that secondary.
And Troy Vincent, Bobby Taylor, those guys actually trained them to kind of fill into their, interesting storyline for Sheldon Brown in the secondary, Lito Shepard, who's on his way to a Pro Bowl. We're going to take a break here on our coverage. You are watching the NFL Network at the Super Bowl Eagles press conference. We'll be right back. And welcome back. Some people know him as Fred X or the People's Champ. He is holding court. His name's Freddie Mitchell. He always has something to say. Let's check in with the Eagles wide receiver.
Opportunity to come.
All right, make a prediction for Sunday like Joe Namath did many, many years ago.
I am not Joe Namath.
I want you to make a prediction, though.
Prediction is going to be one of the best Super Bowls ever.
Final score.
It's going to go down to the wire.
Final score.
I don't know that. Then I'd be like a lot of these analysts out here.
Uh-oh.
What do you have against the analysts?
Huh?
What do you have against the analysts?
I just don't understand these guys and how much they know about football. You know, it's weird. Nobody can really know what's going to happen until you go out there. You know, you don't know turnovers. Who could have? You know, you don't know if the quarterback's going to go out there and throw 5 interceptions or what. You know, it's all opinion.
Should I call you today?
Yeah, see?
Should I call you?
Call Scott Horner. That's where I do all my stuff.
All right, I'm going to call him today, all right?
Okay, and I will.
Bio mentioned yoga as part of your training and conditioning. What is that?
Yeah, backroom yoga, it helps me with my flexibility. It helps me. Who are you? Who is this? Oh, these are my dogs. What's up, buddy?
Last night, you guys were playing chess and checkers, dominoes, PlayStation,
I have. You know, I'm kind of like the crowd, and I'm egging the situation on. You know, T.O., he's a competitor. I mean, anything you do, he competes, and that's just something you're born with. You know, you can't really teach that.
Is he good at PlayStation?
Huh? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We definitely... I think he throws to himself too much, but, you know, other than that, he's a good player.
What about you?
Oh, yeah. I'm throwing to myself every down.
What'd you like about Brazil?
You know, the sugar loaf. I mean, a lot of the weather. I mean, it's a package deal, and it's pretty sweet. It's very interesting.
It's like a place you go to get away. Right?
Yeah.
You look for that.
Most importantly,
You
yeah.
sort of disappear.
Yes, that's what I do. You know, I disappear. I get away from all the distractions. So it's pretty sweet.
Wish you could disappear from this right now.
I will be in about 15 minutes.
Or less.
Or less.
About 10 minutes.
10 minutes? I'll be disappearing. It's a good thing.
What do you do to keep relaxed and keep an even keel during the week? You get a real escape or release or anything?
It's not hard. You know, I just go out there, you know. I know how to separate business from pleasure. You know, once I'm home and once we're done for the day, it's done. We're done, and it's another day. Anybody? This is Billy McMullen. I want to introduce everybody to Billy McMullen. He is one of the next superstars.
Good morning, Billy.
And great player. He's just going to get his opportunity one of these days, and he's going to be taking my job.
All right, Media Day continues at the Sawgrass Marriott. Let's check in on the special teams. Pro Bowler David Akers is holding court.
Yeah, a little bit. The practice part's great. This part is a little trying because it's the same questions over and over. And you know, I was saying earlier, I think Adam's a great guy and we're friends, but I'm tired of talking about him. You know.
David, how many times have you been asked about Adam and his history in Super Bowls?
A lot. Usually every other question's about Adam, and rightfully so. I mean, I understand wherever, you know, everybody's got a lot to talk about. So he's done a great job. He's a great friend, and I got a lot of joy for his success because I've been able to watch him do things that a lot of kickers don't have an opportunity to do. And by watching that, I see him be able to do things that he probably wouldn't have been able to do. And we have very similar backgrounds as far as making it to the NFL. So I think there's a little bit extra joy in that. And knowing that he's such a great guy, that makes you feel even more proud for him.
All right, that's David Akers. Let's take you to player podium number 5 for Pro Bowler Michael Lewis.
He never stops working, man, and he takes care of his body. I look up to him, you know, the things that he does, you know, the things that I want to, you know, get accomplished, man. And he just, on Sundays, he just go out there and he just has fun and let it hang loose, man. And here's a guy who's going to play. He's going to play till he's about 40 years old, and that's what he'll tell you, too.
Would you see yourself doing that if you take
I don't know. I don't know if I take care of my body the way he does. But, you know, some things that I have to change as far as my diet and my training activities. But he trains at a level unmatched.
got a question for you. You looking around all this, today's the last day you meet with us. You ready to just get this going? Enough of this already. Let's lace them up. Let's get going.
Some will, but at the same time, you don't want to play the game before it actually happens. We still have some work to do as far as practice-wise and things we have to work on. But for us, this is a new experience, and we're taking it all in, and we're loving it. And but we know, as we get to the late Thursday, Friday, it's game time mode, and guys are going to begin to switch on their game face.
What's the key to keeping this team? How you guys are so loose? It's like everyone keeps asking, "Oh, you're in the Super Bowl."
Look at this, L.J. Smith turning the tables on the media. We'll be back at the Sawgrass Marriott in a second. Everything but the game is our motto. Following Super Bowl 39, be sure to join Rich Eisen, Terrell Davis, Solomon Wilcox, and Kara Henderson and Paul Burmeister. I know I'm going to hear about that from Terrell a little bit later on. Darren Horton, Jim Mora, we're wrapping up our coverage here, the Philadelphia Eagles press conference. Coach, this is it for the players after today.
And they're glad to hear that, too. Now they can just focus on the game, not have to answer the same questions all the time.
No more media obligations.
They'll feel good about this.
For the players. That is going to do it from here, from the Sawgrass Marriott. We are on our way out the door. We're going to get over to the Patriots headquarters to hear from Bill Belichick and Tom Brady and the rest of them. Don't forget, 2 hours of Total Access coming up tonight with Rich Eisen, Ty Law, Joe Montana, Ben Roethlisberger, Tim Brown, Peter King, Doug Williams, Warren Moon, Randall Cunningham, and the list goes on. You're watching NFL Network at the Super Bowl. Our coverage continues with the Patriots.